Hello everyone, let me start the market and economy project presentation. My scenario is as a pricing consultant. Should Brompton increase, decrease, or leave price unchanged under the business environment? Let's dive in. This is Lucas Chen. My ID is shown. Let me introduce my finding in market situation, market analysis, positioning and benchmark, finally the pricing strategy. First, let us recap the key takeaway of business case in market situation page. There will be three pillars. The first is the outlook. So the general bike market expected to grow year to year, leading by China, 4.7% until 2027. And if we narrow down to the foldable bike segment, the demand also increased. It's because the last mile problem caused by COVID and younger segmentation adaptations, which means the younger people are more cherished to the foldable bike. And lastly is the unique value of Brompton in niche market because it's a religion to its audience. It's made in London. It arouses a certain culture and people can accept higher price because it's a belief. The second pillar is scale in sales. So Brompton made success in dealerships, but not joining venture. It's because Brompton is an icon and classic designer of UK engineering, which means it's tech-centric and 70% of components are made in Greenfield. And second is the negative experience to fabricate abroad. Joint venture in Asia failed is because of quality control problems and end up with a cheaper replica against authentic models, and there are several lawsuits against each other. Lastly, success. Finally, in overseas market distribution, Brompton finally has a highly customizable models and has a 75% sales in overseas market, 14 retail store, 1,450 licensed dealers. Lastly is the business environment. Brexit from 2016 to 2021, so pound against euro and dollar has been volatile. Second is the COVID-19. It impacts, creates uncertainty in recessions that end up with the customer delay, logistics efficiency. Finally is the removal of anti-dumping tariff, 48.5%. It weakens pricing competition in the domestic market. So that was the key takeaway after reading through the business case. Here is the analysis on the demand and supply and price elasticity. So left hand side, you can see from the key factor, the first one is currency volatility. On supply part, it will lead to higher input cost, which means lower capacities on factory size, and demand will need to be avoid possible price hikes. And trade frictions is the second factors. On supplier side, which there will be slower productions, which means can be shortage, long lead time to hand it over the product to the customers. On demand side, which will reduce the EU demand. The third factor is tariff policy shift. Luckily, the UK government keep the tariff, but from the supplier side, if we remove it, it will become more cheap imports, and they will create pressure on pricing. Last factor is brand narrative. I think from supply, brand itself is neutral, but from a demand, it will become polarizing, which means it can have favor to the premium segment buyer, but weaker for the price-sensitive buyers. On the right-hand side, there is price elasticities. We can take from each segment from the top. The first is the loyal UK buyers. Basically, they are focusing on premium segments. They are in the XCC PET type. They have low Brexit impact. What we should raise price modesty because they can accept that. The second is EU price sensitive buyers, and they're elastic PET type, which means they're very sensitive to the price, and they are high Brexit impact, which avoid price hikes. The third is the entry-level buyers, which is the C line. They have moderately elastic PET types and median Brexit expert. And we should bundle services, not discount, which means we can bundle accessories for them. Lastly is the global luxury buyers. Most of them are in Asia and US. They're in elastic PED types, low Brexit impact, and we should target with exclusivity. Before I jump in the final pricing strategy, I just want to use this one slide to repositioning what Brompton is in Porter general strategy and also benchmarking Rimowa. So if we see from the positioning, Brompton and Rimowa clearly are the differentiation focus. The characters are the few competitors in the segments, and the brand as religions have higher states, and both of them have signature technique. So for Brompton, what's their key traits? They're a British icon, luxury foldable bike, and they are low price elasticity in demand, which means the price their user can accept a little bit price inflations because they believe it's a high quality, and it growth in overseas markets a little bit slower than Rimowa, but it's on its track. And what we can learn from Rimowa, so basically it's the same pricing but different tariff and different tax-free policy in different countries. So as a user, we can check on the internet, we can see where we can buy the cheaper one, and we go there. It's not about the different market at different pricing. It's just about the setting of tariff combination. But for remote, want to raise price in product line in every product line upgrade, so people accept that because the craftsman increase, and we can always get the good quality after it level up, and we can surely pay for the level up cost. And co-branding also a very important strategies that Remova has been doing with the facial label with Supreme. And lastly is the assembly line. I would think Brompton should have more factories, not just in the UK, but in other EU country. Finally, let me summarize the pricing strategies. I would recommend Brompton increase the price on premium segment globally and moderately raise it to offset margin erosion in UK and EU market. So in general, I think every customers buying Brompton can accept the price increase because they buy it not just because they want something cheaper, because they buy it for religion, just as I said, culture in the back. So for instance, like UK, if we encounter this kind of situations, we can raise the price because they have loyal premium buyers and small portion of sales, not very critical. The tariff capped, elastic price, lower PED impact. As for the EU overseas market, it's a huge portion. We can still increase a bit, but we should avoid price hike too much. And because there are much more price sensitive buyers, they have many choices, and the market there is elastic price, long lead time, low capacity. We need to use this to offset the stronger euros in currency exchange. And in the long run, in the short run, we should have over pre-order customization online, because that can help the factory to gather more demand concurrently, and eventually can negotiate with the parts manufacturers, have a good deal, which means we can cost down a bit. And the third part is the C-line buyers. They're basically the first-time buyers like myself. We can accept the price definitely. We can also accept it, increase a bit, but not that much. But the key here is try to evangelize Brompton cultures. And for several countries, several regions, I would suggest Brompton should reiterate the last mile experience, because some of the bike is very heavy, and the construction and the architecture in the translation, especially in Asia, is not as similar to the UK. Lastly is the PT line buyers. They have a lot of money, of course. We should target exclusivity, and we can have more experience on that, because the global luxury buyers is there, and it's in listed price and lower Brexit impact. They can set co-branding, personal fitting services. I think that is all for my sharing. Thank you.